Okay, we are rolling. We are rolling, brother. Champions of Champions boxing talk here. Just a quick video. Well, Jeff the Hornet Horn beats Michael Zerafa in the second fight. And apparently it was a classic. I've just seen some clips on Twitter from, very ironic. Michael Zerafa finished the first fight, stopping Jeff Horn in the ninth, and he had him hurt again in the ninth round. But, in the clinch, I'm not sure exactly how this goes, but there was a breakup. The referee broke the two fighters up, and the doctor looked at Jeff Horn very similar to when the referee was asking Jeff Horn in the Manny Pacquiao fight, are you alright to go on? And very similar to what Deontay Wilder went through against Luis Ortiz in the corner when the doctors checked Deontay Wilder out to see if he was lucid and could carry on. But Jeff Horn survived the ninth round onslaught. Not only that, when Michael Zerafa come in for the finish, Jeff Horn landed an absolute peach of a right hand on the inside. Very similar to the sort of right hand that Mean Machine was landing on Terence Crawford. Because Jeff Horn landed that shot on Terence Crawford a few times in their fight. I'm really disappointed that nobody picked this fight up. Because, let's be honest, Jeff Horn, he is an entertaining fighter. Whatever we may think about the way he fights, he is... it's never going to be a nice night fighting him. He doesn't fight with the necessarily always the sweet science. It's always the brute science, right? He's basically from the book of Marcus Madana. People like that, if you ask me, comes in with an herky-jerky style. You sort of know that he's going to give every ounce of energy he's got. He's going to throw. He's going to punch till he can't punch no more, as they say in Rocky. He's got... Well, Michael Zerafa, I know he beat him in the first fight, but Michael Zerafa was not dropped twice, and Jeff Horn dropped him twice apparently. Michael Zerafa was not dropped by Kell Brook. Jeff Horn effectively dropped a middleweight twice. It shows he's got some power, He wiped out Anthony Mundine. Just completely obliterated him again with right hands. And he darts in very quick. And he sort of uses his strength, leans on you. Well, he's a horrible guy to fight. We all know this. But I didn't see the full fight. I've just seen clips, as I've said, on Twitter. And apparently many boxing fans have been raving about this fight. You see, the first fight was pretty good. So you would have thought that somebody would have picked up the second fight. Obviously, he's a big star in Australia. But boxing's a global sport. I'm surprised ESPN or somebody didn't pick this up. The reason being, this was a guy that has fought two of the biggest names in the sport in Manny Pacquiao and Terence Crawford. One thing we have to say, Jeff Horn has some will. He has some will. He takes a lot of punishment, though. I wonder how long his career can go on like this. Is he going to have to make some adjustments? Box a bit more behind a jab. Slow to an extent the pace down. Time his shots more. Don't rush things as much. Don't get into as much of the trench wars, and use the sweet science. But maybe we're at that stage where, he's set in his ways, because Pacquiao had him rocking. Jeff Horn was seeing 4 Manny Pacquiaos in that. I think it was the 10th round. Terence Crawford had him rocking. Michael Zerafa had him rocking twice. Now, I thought personally Manny Pacquiao beat Jeff Horn, but for sheer spirit, you've got to give it him. For sheer toughness, you've got to give it him. For sheer not willing to give up, you've got to give it him. And sometimes in life, hard work and toughness goes a long way. I hope I'll be able to see this fight a bit later, but the question is, what would next? What should I say is next for Jeff the Hornet Horn? I think middleweight is too big for him. I do. I'm thinking maybe 154 pounds and maybe get a Kell Brook fight. You know? Maybe get an Amir Khan fight. Who knows? I personally think he beats Am. I personally think Jeff Horn stops Amir Khan. I mean, again, if he's knocking down, Michael Zerafa. Zerafa is a tough guy, right? He may not have won world titles and dominated weight classes, but he is a tough ask. And Jeff Horn's power hurt him, dropped him twice. Could Amir Khan absorb that? I don't think so. And I think this rough and tumble Jeff Horn style is toxic for Amir Khan. He come through a style like that years ago, but we've seen Lamont Peterson really rough Khan up. We've seen a few fighters rough Khan up. Terence Crawford actually did. If you look in that 5th round, he's not really thinking sweet science anymore. He's just ripping Khan to the body, right? Samuel Vargas, he gave Khan a rough fight. It was a clear win for Khan, but every round was extremely difficult. And again, Khan's chin has been, hit that often. You have to wonder, has it seen, the end of its tether? Jeff Horn has the power to stop Amir Khan. Kell Brook, well, do you know something? Carson Jones and people like that, Kell Brook struggles with pressure fighters. The Sean Porter fight was not that clear cut. That was a close fight. If Jeff Horn can be, I've said about him adjusting his style, but if Jeff Horn can fight the way he fights, he may be a bit troublesome for Kell Brook. But that's an interesting fight. I do think what may trouble Jeff Horn against Kell Brook is that Kell Brook boxes like a surgeon. Everything is kind of accurate and powerful, and you kind of have to have head movement and defense. And sometimes I think Jeff Horn gets caught up in the moment of a fight and gets caught with unnecessary shots. But here's the other thing with Jeff Horn's, because he does have decent hand speed, Kell Brook doesn't move his upper body that much. His head movement is it's available, let's just say that. Sort of reminded me of the old style of the way Anthony Joshua fought until he made the adjustments recently and moved very well against Andy Ruiz. But I'm disappointed I didn't see this fight because online they're raving about it. But I do know what won Jeff Horn this fight is what has made Jeff Horn, what he is today, and that is heart, determination, braveness. Little bit of the dark arts every now and then, let's be honest. But he wouldn't be the first and he wouldn't be the last. As I've said, he reminds me of a Chino Madonna type. Jeff Horn is the sort that can make an old man feel like an old man. When you get these boxers and they're old fighters, if you box with them and give them time, they can still look young because they can fight at their own pace. Jeff Horn won't let you fight at your own pace. I'm wondering a massive event with Floyd Mayweather, because if Floyd Mayweather sort of shells up against the ropes against Jeff Horn won't have any hesitation of throwing shots and leaning and brawling and things like that. And he's not afraid of taking a right hand from Floyd Mayweather. It could look similar to the Mayweather-Madonna fight. As I've said, I keep comparing the two. But Jeff Horn is much bigger and younger. What about this one? Sean Porter v. Jeff Horn. That would be action-packed, wouldn't it? But these are just a few options. I think Jeff Horn, again, is the sort of guy that can retire an old fighter. Like I said, I predicted, and it was true, that Manny Pacquiao wouldn't have as much trouble with Keith Thurman as he did with Jeff Horn. Styles make fights. Keith Thurman likes to box at range. He sort of only goes into attack mode when he has to these days, and that was the case in the second half against Manny Pacquiao. But Jeff Horn was on it from the very first get-go. I thought Jeff Horn lost, I'm being honest with you. I thought there was a 10-8 round in there to Manny Pacquiao. But I left that fight respecting the toughness of Jeff Horn, even if I didn't like some of the dirty tactics he did, right? As Teddy Atlas did give him some credit. Although Teddy Atlas said he lost, he did say, you have to respect him for really holding in there when he could have folded. Let's face it. But we know what Jeff Horn's strengths are. They're obvious. They are obvious. But, hoping to see this fight later on. I hope the fans in Australia enjoyed it. And this is Champions of Champions Boxing Talk. I'm out, brother.